Very good morning to one and all. Hope my audio is clear. And if there is any disturbance in the audio, kindly let me know in the chat box. And I hope there is no disturbance. And we'll start with the session. Okay, can anyone reply that whether my audio is clear or not?
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. So once again, good morning, students. So we are starting with the next phase of our webinar sessions. Okay, and before starting with the next unit, I would like to convey few informations regarding your internal assessment exams also. Okay, and the first thing is, few students didn't have interest at all to write these exams. Okay, and one more thing, everybody are making their own sacrifices, even the teachers, students, everyone, right? So in this pandemic situation, it is very important to know how we are utilizing this time. Okay, so rather than just whiling away the time at home, we can either start preparing for our exams. We can be prepared for anything which has been given by Anna University. Okay, so our management and our staffs are what to say, uh, precautiously planning every steps for you guys. Okay, so have some self interest while writing those exams. Okay, and I could see many students didn't present it well or didn't scan the images well. Just for namesake, they have written and scanned the images and posted it in the classroom. Okay, so from next time, have some self interest. You guys are not any school students or kindergarten students. You guys are going to be graduates in a few years, right? So you have to become professional and you guys have to act mature. Okay, so in the upcoming exams, please have some self interest, prepare some exams, prepare for the exams wisely and present it well, and then upload it properly. Okay, so we are taking so much effort in order to make you guys understand what the subject is about, so please cooperate with us. That's all we are asking. Okay, so we will move on to today's chapter. Okay, so this is scanner and raster data input. This is the first topic in the third unit, and the third unit title name is data input and topology. Okay, so far we have seen in geographic information system. Okay, I hope you guys have remembered at least the subject name. Hope you didn't forget anything. So just we will have a small brush up. Okay, so in first unit, what we have seen what is a geographic information system, what are the history of geographic information system, who is the father of geographic information system, and what are the various types of data. One is spatial data and attribute data or non-spatial data. So what is the spatial data? So how these data are being presented? So how many types of spatial data is available? Raster data and vector data. How those things are being projected, like either in lines, points, and polygons, or in grid formats. Okay, so those things we have seen. And what are the various components of this, like hardware, software, data, people, and method, and how are the objects being projected in an Google map or in any geographic information system, like what to say, a coordinate system. What are the different types of coordinate systems available? Okay, and next one is the various types of software which is being implemented. What is open source software and what is closed source or proprietary software? What are the various types of data available in attribute data? Okay, so those all things we have seen in the first unit of fundamentals of GIS. In second unit, we have gone in depth to the first layer, which is spatial data model. Okay, so in spatial data model, what we have seen is we have seen the ultimate database management system exactly. Okay, how the data is being manipulated inside a database management system, or how the data is being analyzed. The data which we are collecting, how it is being analyzed and how it is being represented in a proper structured manner. Those things all we have seen in the second unit, and we have also seen the various types of DBMS, like relational DBMS and object oriented DBMS, and the comparison between both, and how an activity or how a segment is being represented, like what are the various diagrams and shapes and edges which is being represented in order to describe, or in order to locate, or in order to present an exact spatial situation. Okay, and what are the various spatial data models and what are the various raster data model and raster data structure, and then we have seen what are the various vector data models and vector data structures. Okay, and also we have seen the comparison between raster and vector data models. Okay, so these are the key points we have to look for, and the last important topic in second unit was tin and grid data models. Okay, and finally the various OGC standards which we have seen. These are the concepts which we have seen so far in unit 1 and unit 2. Okay, so now, so these are the basics which we have seen for GIS. Now we are going into the concepts, or we are going into the process actually. Okay, so the third unit deals with the various data inputs and topology which is going to happen. Okay, so various data in so this is your third unit, and in today's topic we are going to cover the green covered part, which are scanner and raster data inputs. Okay, so we are going to see what is a scanner and what are the various types of scanner available, and what is raster data input, what is that process, how many segments are there, everything we are going to see in today's class. Okay, and in upcoming classes we will see the various types of data formats and topology, etc., etc. Okay, so in today's class, it's been a long time since we had a puzzle, right? So today I will be posting one puzzle, and this is the puzzle for you guys. Hope it is visible. Okay, so I'll give you 30 seconds just to look at the puzzle. So after the end of the first topic we will discuss this answer. Watch the image carefully. At the end of the first topic I will ask you to post your answers. That time you can post the answers. And I have already posted one triangular image, and only Akash replied for that. We will discuss that answer also later. Okay. So I hope everybody has seen the question. Okay. So now we will be moving on to the next part. Okay. So today we are going to see what is a scanner. According to you guys, what is a scanner? What you have seen in your life? What type of scanner you have seen? We have seen a scanner which scans any digital, I mean any paper, and convert it into a digital format. Okay, it may be a textbook, it may be a paper, it may be a ID card, maybe any government license, anything. Okay, so what will happen, that scanner will scan the object, it will sense the object, it will scan the entire page, and it will be converted into an image format, in a digitized format. So that is the work of a scanner, correct? So that is the scanner which we have seen. Okay, so there are n number of scanners available actually. Okay, n number of scanners available. Like for example, in printing press and all, there is a scanner, or a scanner as well as a printer, which is almost a size of a room. Okay, so that much big of a printer and scanner is also available. Okay, the purpose is still unknown. They have their own purposes. Okay, so likewise there are several scanners which is being used in GIS also. Okay, so we know that this is nothing but we are going to convert the analog data into a digital data, or the spatial data into a digital data, correct? So like for example, we will take our college as an example. So on the I hope you guys remember, on the first day of first unit, okay, we see the various applications of GIS. So in that I have shown you guys what is a geographic information system, what is a application of geographic information system, how the Google map is showing our college, RMK Engineering College, how the green areas, how the water area, how the building is being highlighted, and how the detail is being represented on that, which is attribute data. So likewise, we can't scan the entire data, correct? We can't scan the entire landscape. So the likewise there is no laser or no digital scanner available for us, at least for now. Okay, so what kind of scanner can we expect? So here in the scanner, in the sense we are taking a any kind of map, and that map is going to be scanned, and that map is being converted into a digital format. Okay, so any kind of map, in the sense any geographical kind of map. Okay, so these scanners are actually used to convert analog maps or photographs or digital image, I mean or photographs or analog maps into digital images. Okay, and this has been represented in a raster format. Okay, this has been represented in a raster or grid format. Okay, and what these digital image actually do, these digital images are actually usually integer based, with 1 byte grayscale. Okay, I'll tell you what is a grayscale. Hope you guys know what is a color spectrum. Color spectrum means from one end to another end, like starting from white and ending at black. Okay, you can see a color spectrum of various colors. So if one is white and 100 is black, then 50 will be gray. So that color transmission will be there. So that is called as grayscale. So grayscale is nothing but it has 256 segments of gray tone, which is having the combination of white and black colors. Okay, so almost 256 gray tones from 0 to 255 is available for black and white image. Okay, and a set of 3 grayscale of RGB. You know that RGB, red, green, and blue color image. And other than RGB, there is also another set of color patterns like yellow, cyan, and brown. Okay, so that kind of color pattern is also there, but it is been rarely used. But most efficient and most colors possible is red, green, and blue only. Okay, so this RGB spectrum is also used in scanners in order to identify the specular colors. Okay, so what are the various types of scanners which is available? Okay, so the various types of scanners are, these are the various 4 types. Please note it down. Mechanical scanner, video camera, CCD camera, and CCD scanner. Okay, I will tell you the differences. So these are the actual 4 types of scanners which are commonly used in GIS and remote sensing process also. Okay, so this question you can definitely expect this question in a 2-mark question. What are the various types of scanners? So please note this question as important 2-mark question. Okay, and next one. So now we will see what is a mechanical scanner, what is a video camera, what is a CCD camera, and what is a CCD scanner. Okay, so this is the first one. So this is a mechanical scanner. It is also called as a drum scanner. Okay, it is also called as a drum scanner. Since a map or an image placed on a drum, actually, what to say is a map has been rolled on a drum. Okay, covering any pipe or any roll with a sheet of paper. Okay, so like that you imagine. Okay, so it is called drum scanner. Okay, and when an image is being rolled on to any pipes or any drum. Okay, it is digitized mechanically with the rotation of the drum. So what we are doing is we are rotating the drum manually. Okay, sorry, mechanically. So while we are rotating the drum, that image is being scanned by the scanner. Okay, and as a sensor shift from one place to another, okay, while we are rotating the drum, okay, so that is being scanned properly. But the main disadvantage over here is it is very slow. Okay, and the area covered is also a little bit less. Okay, so we can't find just to scan a huge paper or A3 sheet of paper, we couldn't get an what to say, a whole big lot of drum, correct? So this is one disadvantages in mechanical scanner. Mechanical scanner is also called as drum scanner. Okay, please keep it in mind. So this is your drum scanner. You can see the scanner scanning from left to right. It is shifting from left to right, and it is converting analog to digital, A to D. The output will be digital output. So that you can see that map is rolled over a drum, and whenever the scanner is being shifted from left to right, the drum is being rotated mechanically. Okay, so this is the process of mechanical scanner. Okay, and the next one is video camera. Okay, here video camera with CRT means cathode ray tube. Okay, I hope you guys have studied this in your first year your physics. Okay, so cathode ray tube is one tube which uh, scans the outlet, I mean scans the data and store it in a video format. Okay, so it is often used to digitize a very small part of a map of a firm. Okay, so like for example, if we are taking the entire RMK Engineering College campus, if we want to cover only the entrance alone or only a specific part alone, so that is being scanned over that. But the thing is, as it is a moving object or it is a moving scanner, it is not very precise and it is not very clear. Okay, this is not very accurate, but it is very cheap. Okay, so here in the image you can see that there is a map on an image. Okay, so using the cathode ray tube, it is been using an inverted lens, they are scanning the entire map. Okay, and with the help of an electronic beam is nothing but the light input. Okay, so with when the light rays flows on the cathode ray tube, okay, it scans or it captures all the images or all the colors that it is being visible on the map. Okay, so likewise, when the beam is being projected on a cathode ray tube, the data on the map is being captured and that data is being converted into a digital output. Simple process. Okay, but the thing is, we can't have an exact accurate output, so we have to use many topological structures in order to retrieve the proper image. So this is one bad disadvantage of video camera. Okay, and the third one is CCD camera. Okay, CCD camera. Okay, and so next one is CCD camera. So here what they are doing is in area CCD camera, what they are trying to do is instead of video camera, which will be also convenient to acquire digital image, uh, instead of video camera, what they are trying to do is they are collecting image data sets. Okay, image data sets. They are trying to collect image data sets, and so they are not using any like in the previous segment, they are not using any cathode ray tube and all. So they are just trying to focus on the image alone, and that area alone is being scanned. Okay, so that is called as area CCD camera. Okay, CCD camera is nothing but it's actually a normal digital still camera only. Okay, so with the help of a camera we are taking a photograph of an image and that image is being converted from analog to digital size. That's all, simple. Okay, it is more stable and accurate when compared to the previous models. When we are comparing it to a video camera, this is not shaky, so this image is clear, the data is also clearly visible. Okay, so the first one is mechanical scanner, second one is video camera, and third one is CCD camera. And last one is CCD scanner, the updated one. Okay, it is also called as flatbed type scanner. Okay, it is also called as flatbed scanner. A sample is the scanner which we are using in our with our system, computer system or desktops. Okay, so that is also an example. So flatbed scanner is nothing but a type or roll feed type scanner. Paper is being kept in an analog format with linear CCD. CCD in the sense charge coupled device. Okay, the full form of CCD is charge coupled device. Okay, it is now commonly used to digitize analog maps into raster formats. Raster formats is for here just the best example for flatbed scanner is the scanner which we are using in our department or in our homes. So that is flatbed scanner. Okay, so you can see there will be a open or closed tray. So we will have a glass opening over there. In that glass we will be pasting any papers or any analog material which we want to scan. We will close that lid and then we will start the scanning process. So that is called as flatbed scanner. Okay, the most commonly used scanner is a flatbed scanner. Also it is known as a desktop scanner. Okay, so it has a glass plate on which the picture or the document is being placed. The scanner head placed beneath the glass plate moves across the picture and the result is a good quality scanned image. That is a result. Okay, so scan for so now in the sense for scanning large maps or topo sheets, wide format flatbeds are for that format and all flatbed scanners can be used. Okay, so like what to say, very A3 sheets or any huge papers, even for that also flatbed scanner is been available. Okay, so that is called as flatbed scanner. Okay, and in general actually these are the main four types of scanners, but in the upcoming topics, the next topic will be called as data input and topology. So in the data topology we will have another topic called as types of scanners. Okay, so that type of scanner there will be a common three segment type scanner like handheld scanner, flatbed scanner and drum scanner. Okay, so these are the main four types of internal scanners. Okay, so while they are asking, so please be cautious. The same mistake has been done in the previous exam also, like for your previous batches. Okay, so as that was the first time, we didn't lose that much mark, but this time we couldn't take any risk. So I'll just explain to clearly. So the first topic in your third unit is scanner. So in the exam, if they are asking for what is a scanner and what are the various types of scanner, you can write these four in elaborated manner. Okay, is that clear? So what is a scanner? What is a mechanical scanner? Video camera, CCD scanner, everything you can write. Okay, But if they are asking what are the types of scanner which is being used for data input, or what is the scanners available in the data input process, if they are mentioning something like that, means then you have to mention only handheld scanner, flatbed scanner and drum scanner. Drum scanner is nothing but your mechanical scanner. Okay, drum scanner is nothing but your mechanical scanner. And next one, flatbed scanner is nothing but your desktop scanner. Okay, flatbed scanner is nothing but your desktop scanner. And last one, handheld scanner. Okay, to give you the best example for handheld scanner. Okay, in supermarket, have you seen any object which has been scanned for the barcode while printing your bills? Okay, so that is handheld scanner. So scanning a minimum part of expected value, so that is your handheld scanner. Okay, so we will be seeing those three types in a shorter manner. So these are the various types of scanners available in your third unit. Okay, data input. And now we are having a comparison of all the four. Okay, if they are asking for any difference, you can take these as 3 points. Okay, if any 2 mark question asked, you can at least, you should at least write any 2 or 3 points, right? So you could use these for your types of differences also. Okay, so now the first one is resolution, second one is accuracy, and third one is cost. Okay, the first one is mechanical scanner. So the resolution of mechanical scanner is very high. So it is from 25 to 100 micrometers, and then the accuracy is also very high, but the cost is also very high. Okay, but what was it disadvantages in mechanical scanner? The disadvantages in mechanical scanner is that it is accurate but it is very slow. So in order to cover a huge area, we need to act more fast, right? So that was a disadvantage in mechanical scanner. Okay, and then the next one in video camera. Okay, in video camera, the first one is the resolution is very low. Okay, 500 cross 500 pixel, but the images are shaky, we couldn't get an exact image. So the accuracy is also very low, but the cost was very cheap. Okay, so even though the cost is very cheap, the resolution and accuracy was a main disadvantage for video camera. Okay, and then next one, CCD camera. Okay, so CCD camera is nothing but an improvised version of a video camera, but instead of covering an entire video or in a particular part of an entire video, we are going to concentrate on a particular image without any cathode ray tube. Okay, so that is called a CCD camera, and in that CCD camera we are having the resolution in medium range, like 500 to 500 pixel or to 4000 to 4000 pixel. Okay, and the eye accuracy is also not very exact, but it is better than video camera. So that's what we have told. CCD cameras accuracy is better than the video camera. Okay, and the last one, it is for CCD camera is available both in cheap cost as well as in high cost based upon the resolution. Okay, and the last one is CCD scanner. So CCD scanner resolution is obviously high. So CCD scanner is the one which is overcoming all the disadvantages of the previous types of scanners. Okay, so CCD camera is a best option or the best type of scanner which we are having in hand right now. Okay, so 300 to 600 digital pixels per inch, and the accuracy is very high and the cost is also very high, as it is dissolving all the negativities of the previous scanners. Okay, so these are the comparison of various types of scanners. Okay, so with this we will be completing our first topic, the scanning part. Okay, so if they are asking for any operations of scanner or what are the types of scanner, please do write all these four types: mechanical scanner or drum scanner, CCD scanner or flatbed scanner, and CCD camera and video scanner. Okay, so kindly explain these things. And these scanners are keep in mind that these scanners are in raster data input. These are scanned and the images are available in raster data input, not vector. Okay, so with this we are completing the first topic, and now we will be going to the next topic. And now it's time for you guys to post your answers in the chat box. Students, you can post your answers in the chat box. Very good. Anjali, Sujita, very good, ma. Other students, everyone, please kindly try. I hope nobody is sleeping over there. Very good. Soumya, Venkatesiva Shankar. And keep in mind, just for my what say, like when I'm saying very good, it doesn't mean that that is the right answer. Okay, I'm just encouraging you guys. I want everybody to respond. So don't be so lazy that someone has typed, so I will not type. Don't be like that. You guys can also participate. Aditya, Leelavati, good, good. Vasudeva Sai, Rakshita, very good. Just in case the answer can be a integer number or a digital number also. I mean, decimal number also. Just in case I'm saying. Okay. So whatever answers you are getting, you can post it directly. No problem. Shenbaga Priya, Abdur Rahman, good, good. Madhubala, good. See, that's the spirit. Either it's a right answer or wrong answer. You guys have to try first. Very good. Very good, students. Any other answers? Okay, we will go for the answers then. Okay. So now we will be going for the answers, and the answer is yes, correct. The answer is 40. And just to be clear, just have a calculation whether the same answer you have got in the same procedure. Yes, very good, students. I really appreciate everybody who has participated. And I will assume that these are the ones who are active and not sleeping in the webinars. Thank you, students. And now we will be going to the very interesting topic. The first process of this we are actually going to see raster data input process. Okay. And just to be clear, in the single image, you guys can expect any three part B questions. Okay. Or at least any three 8 marks or 7 mark questions. Okay. So from this single image, you can expect that many questions. This is the entire concept of raster data input, this one single image. Okay. So first I will explain this image first. Okay. So okay. So the first area, okay, the first layer. I hope the image is visible for you guys. Okay. The first image is maps, satellite data, digital data, tabular data, and soft ideas. Okay. I'm sorry, I forgot to ask a question. Students, does anybody has any doubt in the first part, ma? Any doubts in the scanners so far? The types of scanners, how it has been used, what is the comparison? Any doubts in the scanners so far? If there is any doubt, you can please ask me. No. Thank you, ma. Thank you, Madhavi, for replying. Okay. So we will go for the next topic, which is raster data input. So here you can see that it has been segregated, or the layer has been segregated into 4 segments. Okay. Please keep these 4 segments in mind. Okay. So raster data input. So whenever they are asking raster data input in your university exam, you 4 things should come in mind. The first layer is data sources. Okay. First thing is data sources, the various sources of data which is available, or the various sources from which the data is being retrieved or obtained. Okay. So what are the various data sources available? Maps, of course. The analog map is being converted into digital segment. Okay, so that is one main data source. Okay, next one, satellite data. So satellite data is nothing but the satellite images which is being obtained, the satellite images of the earth, of the spatial data earth, which is being scanned or which is being obtained by the satellite images, is being converted into digital format. So that is satellite data. Okay, so first one is map as a data source, analog map. Second one is satellite data which is being captured using the satellite, and third one is digital data. What is digital data? You can see an optic disc or a CD or DVD. So these are nothing but data which are stored in any storage devices, and that is being retrieved or that is being taken as an input for this GIS process. Okay, so this is actually the process of GISMA. So in this GIS process, either from maps or satellite or from digital data or from tabular data in the sense, can you recognize where it is from? Yes, very good. Tabular data is from database management system. The data which is being utilized from or the data which is being captured are represented in relational database management system process, and that data is being retrieved from this input sources. Okay, and last one is soft ideas. Soft ideas are nothing but artificial ideas or artificial input. Okay, like for example, if any data is available, a human input will be added to that, like this kind of representation will be easy for us, or this kind of idea can be implemented. Such improvisation or such innovation can be used using a soft idea. So that is a manual part which is being inserted. So these are the various data resources or data sources which is available for the first part. Okay, so what is the first layer of raster data input? Data sources. So how many types of data sources are there? Maps, satellite, digital data, tabular data, and soft ideas. Okay, so these are the various types of data sources. So this is your first layer. Okay, now moving on to the second layer, data capture. Okay, so in data capture is, so the input data is available. How are we going to capture those data? Okay, how are we going to capture those data? So again, in data capture there are four techniques. Okay, so please what to say, understand this image very well so that you can follow through this entire third unit very easily. So first layer is data source, second layer is data capture. So what are the various techniques or what are the various types available in data capture? Can you see those four words? I hope it is clear. Digitizing, scanning, data transfer, and key coding. Okay, so here digitizing is nothing but conversion of an analog image into a digital image. Simple. Okay, conversion of an analog image into a digital image. So that is called as digitizing process. Okay, so in that digitizing itself there are several types of digitizing. Okay, like heads up digitizing, manual digitizing. That is all we will see it in the upcoming slides. Okay, head down digitization, everything is available. So those kinds of digitizing, what we will see it in the later class, upcoming slides. So first one is digitizing, which is converting of analog images into digital images. Simple. Second one is scanning. So how the scanning part is done, are either using scanning scanners like flatbed scanner, drum scanner, and handheld scanner. Okay, and the next one is the data transfer. So how the data is being transferred? So you can see that the arrow mark is pointing out from digital data and tabular data. Okay, so digital data and tabular data. So digital data means the stored data which is available in digital format, and the tabular data which is available, like for example the DBMS, of course the relational database management system data which is available. Okay, so those two are converted, I mean combined together for knowledge transfer or data transfer to the next level. Okay, so in every level a certain input has been needed. So for the first level, it is maps, satellite, digital data, tabular data, and soft ideas. 5 parts. Okay. And in second layer, data capture. 4 parts are being used: digitizing, scanning, data transfer, and key coding. So what is key coding? Key coding is nothing but encoding of data or programming code. So here soft ideas are nothing but a coding or a code which has been developed using a developer or developed by a developer, a program developer. Okay, so that's what key coding or encoding is called as. Okay, Anjali has replied database. Very good, ma. Very good. Okay, so next one is now we will be seeing what are the various types of digitizing, what are the various types of scanning, etc. etc. Okay, so before going into that, I will also cover the next two layers so that in upcoming slides it will be easy for us. So the next slide is data editing process. Okay, so data editing. So what has been done over here? So the data has been the data resource has been identified. So the data has been identified. Next, the data capture layer. So we are converted all the data into digital format in whatever format we want. So the data or the input is ready for us. Okay, so now what are we going to do with the data? We are going to edit the data. Why are we editing the data? Why are we editing the data? So under data editing, you can see that first topic as data capture. Okay, under data editing, you can see that first layer as data capture. So you can see that in the data capture itself, so data capture is nothing but a process of data editing only. So we have to capture the data in order to edit the same, correct? So after collecting the data, there will be extra noises available. So we have to filter the data and we have to remove the unwanted parts. Everything has to be done. Okay. Or in other words, it is called as editing or cleaning segment. Okay. Editing or cleaning segment. So that has been done over here. Okay, and after capturing the data, editing and cleaning means the removal of unwanted data or the overlapping of data or the missing data. Everything is being edited and cleaned over here. And the next one is reprojection. So after editing and cleaning part, it is being projected using a coordinate system. Okay, so that is called as reprojection segment. Okay, so after reprojection, combining of all the analog segments in a raster format is called as generalization format. Okay, generalization format. Here a process of vectorization or rasterization is also been taking place. So I hope you guys remember what is vectorization and rasterization. Rasterization is nothing but converting vector data into raster data. Vectorization is nothing but converting raster data into a vector data. Okay, and finally what happens is edge matching and rubber sheeting technique is being followed. Rubber sheeting in the sense multiple layers are being combined together. Okay, like for example, we are taking the entire campus of RMK Engineering College alone. Okay, we are taking the entire campus of RMK Engineering College alone. So in one layer, or in this case in one layer of rubber sheet, what we will be having is we will be covering all the green areas available in RMK Engineering College, the trees, okay, the lawns, the everything. Okay, so everything will be coming under that area. And in next layer we will be having the buildings alone. Okay, from the entrance building, the temple, all the blocks available. Okay, everything will be covering under the second sheet. And in third sheet, all the water resources available in that one will be coming. And in fourth layer, let's assume all the transportation pathways, all the roads available, okay, all the bus traveling routes inside the RMK Engineering College campus. So that can be given as another layer. So all these layers are being clubbed together in the last process called as integrated GIST database. Okay, it has been, everything is been layered together, and finally, and what happens is in the layering process all the layers are being mentioned separately. Okay, and what happens is all the layers are being clubbed together finally in order to create an integrated GIST database. So with this final power packed GIST database, we can retrieve any kind of data or any kind of analysis which we want to do. Okay, so like if you want to find the shortest distance from the entrance to the end of the RMK Engineering College campus, we can find the shortest distance path, and any other alternate end routes we can found, and the distance between the highly green areas and the water resource available. So everything can be manipulated using that concept. So this is actually the raster data input final segregation concept. Okay, how many layers are there? Data source is there, data capture is there, data editing is there, and finally integrated or the final database, integrated this database is available. Okay, so these are the 4 layers which we have to remember using raster data input structures. Okay, so now moving on to the next slide. So this is the first slide, raster data input, and there are 4 methods which have been widely used. Okay, so that is nothing but the keyboard entry or the manual digitizing process or the automatic digitizing and scanning process. Okay, here the keyboard entry is nothing but the tabular data or the soft ideas, and the manual digitizing and automatic digitizing is nothing but the map scanning and satellite images respectively. Okay, so keyboard entry, manual digitizing, automatic digitizing and scanning, these are the 4 segments which is widely used in this raster data input process. Okay, so now going on to the all the concepts internally. Okay, keyboard entry is nothing but the key coding or the programming part which is enabled over here. Okay, and if any text is being scanned, okay, like for example optical character recognition, OCR, the software is being used in order to capture the text automatically and convert it into a digital format. Okay, so that kind of tool is being used over here for keyboard entry. Okay, and coming on to manual digitizing process. Okay, so here manual digitizing in the sense the digitizing part where we are converting the analog data into a digital data here. So first, what is digitizing? Digitizing is nothing but it is a process of interpreting and converting paper map or image data to vector digital data. Is that clear? So digitizing, I will repeat again, first of all understand what is digitizing. So digitizing is the process of interpreting and converting paper map or image data to vector digital data. So we are converting the analog data into a vector digital data. Is that clear? So that is called as digitizing. Okay. It is also the process by which the coordinate from a map or an image or other sources of data are converted into a digital format images. Is that clear? It is actually a process in which the coordinate from a map. Okay, so like for example, the A maybe the latitude, longitude, or the XY coordinates available in an analog map, or any image, or in any other format, input format that can any other resources of data which is being converted into a digital format. So that is called as digitizing process. Okay. So this process becomes necessary when available data is being gathered in formats that cannot be immediately integrated with other GIS data. Okay, so it doesn't mean that all the data which is being collected are of the same data types. Yes or no? So some data may be in image format, some data may be in pixel format, or some data may be in video format. Okay, some data may be in properly uh, what to say properly segmentized, some image cannot be segmentized. Okay, so various types of data will be there, so combining all those data and converting into a proper digitizing image is called as digitizing process. Okay, and this process becomes necessary when available data is being gathered in formats that cannot be immediately integrated with other data. Okay, and that's what I told now. And digitization result in shape files. Okay, like the various shapes of any objects available in the spatial data. Okay, so digitization results in the shape file which are having some vector features in it. Okay, and this is what digitization is about. So what is manual digitizing? Okay, actually manual digitizing is a tedious job, and if operator is not efficient it may lead to several digitizing errors. Okay, manual digitizing is nothing but a man-made digitizing process. Okay, and what the man is doing is, or the human over here is doing is, he will be converting the analog data into a digital data using a manual process. Okay, so what happens is uh, for example, if a hard copy of an aerial photography is being taken, okay, and snow cover on a particular date could be encoded from aerial photograph, okay. So what can be happens is there could be a mismatch of data while a human error is being implemented, okay. So in case of a computer system we can't expect that human error, okay. So the data will be precise and accurate. So whereas in manual digitizing process the data will not be accurate and there is a huge possibility of human errors, okay. That is as usual, okay. And rather than saying human errors I can say that it is a digitizing error, okay. And hence it has to be done with the most skill and very cautious process, manual digitizing. So what happens is it takes a lot of time and lot of patience and lot of verifications and testing part to be done, okay. So that's why we are not going for manual digitizing nowadays, okay. And what could be the problem available in manual digitizing, like let's assume that a single person is been scanning all the data or converting all the data analog images into digital images, okay. So from morning till evening can he sit in a single place, okay. So he may have some what to say eye strains, okay, some backbone issues he could have. From morning till evening he is sitting in front of a system and scanning everything, means he may have some sore eyes, so eye pain will be having, some backbone pain will be having, some muscle cramps will be there. So that is not possible in a system. So these are the defects or these are the problems which can be faced by a manual digitizing segment. Can you understand, okay. And managers must limit the number of hours of an operator who works in an at one time, okay. So that could be helping the efficiency in manual digitizing process, okay. So a commonly used quality check is to be produced for a verification plot of the digitized data that is visually compared with the map from which the data were originally digitized, okay. So what I'm trying to say is, if analog map is being converted into digital map using a manual digitizing segment, then the higher official or the operator or the higher operator, what he should do is he should have a random quality check. He should compare the soft copy of the image and the hard copy, I mean the analog copy of the image. We should check for any random data whether it is available or it has been exactly placed or not. So that is how we could improvise the quality of the manual digitizing process, okay. This is also a digitizing table and PC workstation. This is one digitizing process. So you could see that a map or an analog map is being placed in a digitizing table, okay, or a huge table. So that table, from that table a segment of a map is being scanned and that scanned map is being converted into a digital image. So likewise it can be either scanned in a slot wise manner or the complete map can be scanned in a single process itself, okay. For that scanning process only we are going for raster data input, like the various types of scanner, drum scanner, flatbed scanners, those things and all, etc. So this is the image for manual digitizing process, okay. Is that clear? Okay, so these are the various steps which are involved in a digitizing process. It's a very simple process, okay. So first one is registration. Registration is nothing but, this is called as registration, okay. Keeping the image in a fixed position so that there won't be any change in the position, okay. So this is called as registration part. And next one is digitizing the point features. So we are focusing on the points alone, okay, either the cities or the landmarks or any pointed areas, okay. So focusing on the digitizing point feature is the step 2, okay. And what is the third stage? Focusing on line features. And the fourth stage is focusing on the area. So can you understand what are the three segments coming from? Vector data structure, points, lines and areas. Simple, okay. So we are going to represent in vector data format in this digitizing process. So the first one will be registration, second one will be digitizing, point features, third one digitizing line features, and fourth one digitizing area features or polygon features. So after digitizing all these features separately, okay, so now we have represented everything. Now what we have to do, we have to add some attributes. So adding attribute information to it. Okay, so what are the various 5 steps of manual digitizing? Registration, digitizing point features, line features, and area features, and the last one is adding attribute information. Very simple process. Okay, can you understand how they are implementing the analog data into a digital data? Yes, consider this as an activity itself. Just use your imagination how they are going to convert it from analog data into a digital data. Okay, so now these 5 segments are being described, how the registration is being taken place. So the map to be digitized, you can see the first point is fixed firmly to the table top with sticky tape. Okay, so the data, I mean, what they are trying to say is the map should be fixed and it should not be movable. Okay, so that is the first process, that is registration actually. And we are marking the coordinates, and this coordinate is being taken in scale range to form the digitized format. Like for example, if suppose we can't show inch by inch or meter by meter or kilometer by kilometer in a analog map, that is impossible. Okay, so we will be covering, like for example, 1,000 kilometers in 1 millimeter. Okay, we will be having a scale of 1,000 kilometer to 1 millimeter. So that is all being taken into consideration, and while we are converting the data of analog map into a digital map, that will be implemented in a digitized format. Okay, so that is called as registration process. And digitizing point features, so here point features is the, in the sense like we discussed, we will be noting down all the pointed or the key areas, like high spots, low spots, hotels, colleges, and any government buildings, government official buildings. Okay, any landmarks of that particular city. Okay, or any proper radio stations, any single digitized point that can be implemented in this segment. What is this segment? This is the second stage, which is digitizing point features. Okay, so first step is registration, second step is digitizing point features, and we are also identifying each point with a specific ID number. Okay, so if we are starting with one particular point, we should not come back to the same point again. So we will be marking that point as visited, and we will be allocating some number to it. Okay, it is like breadth first search or depth first search only, traversing throughout the data structure by visiting every node exactly once. Okay, so this is digitizing point feature. Okay, next one, combination of several points together forms an arc or a line. Okay, so here railway tracks, transportation roads, the footpath, the main roads, highways, and rivers, everything comes into consideration in this digitizing line feature. Okay, so everything is being carried out over here, and everything is being digitized from analog data to digitized data. Okay, and the last one is of course the polygon area. So whichever is left out, everything is a polygon. Okay, so if it is a single point, that will be represented or digitized using a point feature. If it is not a single point, if it is a combination of several single points together, then it will be represented in a line feature. If it is not a line feature, then it will be represented using a polygon feature. So whichever is not coming under the category of points or line, it will be taken into consideration as a polygon feature. Polygon is nothing but it consists of many shapes more than two. So it doesn't matter whatever shape, it is a circle or pentagon or hexagon, whatever may be the shape, or an ellipse, any kind of data can be digitized in this segment. And finally, after digitizing every element, what we have to do? We have to put some information. Okay, just drawing the map of RMK Engineering College is not sufficient. We have to mention in map that that is RMK Engineering College. So this is the entrance, this is the temple, this is the building, this is the park. Everything has to be mentioned over there, right? So that kind of data is called as adding attribute information. Is that clear? So adding attribute information, that is the final part of manual digitizing process. Okay, you can see the various digitizing segments available for a single area. Okay, so here dem is also used. You can see the right side first black and white, black and color image. You can see the height and depth of every area, so that is using dem. So here what they are trying to do is they are trying to add the attribute information in the segment. Okay, and these are examples for line and point digitizing process. Just have a glance. These are nothing but the point mode and stream mode which we have seen so far. So this is one example how the Bezier curve and splines are explained. Like for example, when we are taking this point into consideration, okay. So whichever point or whichever is having a straight point, okay. So that has been taken into consideration as the most number of points available in point digitizing process. Okay, so in point digitizing process means more number of point will be there, especially in the curved areas. Okay, especially in the curved areas there will be more points, but whereas stream it is a data flow only, right? So I mean the point flow only, right? So if there is a straight path there will be minimum number of points available. If there is a curved path there will be minimum number of points available when compared to the point mode digitization. Okay, here you can see that in the top left the first curve available. Okay, so here is the start end point. So from this end point I'm seeing this first curve we can compare with both the segments. So the minute detail has been covered using the point mode, and as it is going in a unique direction it has been covered with a less number of points in a stream mode digitizing process. Okay, so you can compare both and see how the digitizing process has been taken into consideration, how we are calculating or how we are implementing the actual spatial data into a digitizing image using point mode digitization and stream mode digitization. Is that clear? Yes? Okay. So this is point and stream mode. And Bezier curve is nothing but any arc or any stream or any lines, okay, any curved lines is been taken into consideration using proper edges and nodes. Okay, so that is called as Bezier curve and splines. Okay, like for example you can see the first arc, you can by you can tend to cover have the all the 4 points within the arc itself, but what they have done, they have properly taken it into consideration of a shape. Okay, and in such a way that the curve comes under that shape. Okay, so that is what we have to cover all the extreme edges of that curve. Like for example in second image you can see that p0, p1, p2, p3 are the extreme positions that the curve could exceed. Beyond that the curves could not exceed. Okay, or there is no other path, extra path which is exceeding that path. Okay, so this is how they are manipulating or converting the analog stream structure into a point structure or a line structure. Okay, and you can see that in every Bezier curve, okay, it has been represented using just 4 points, either p0, p1, p2, p3. Okay, so it means that any structure is being represented by those 4 points alone. Okay, so it will be having a starting point and an ending point with two control points each. Okay, this is your stream mode. and this is actually an example of your digitizing process. Okay, so first of all the you can see the dots available in various segments. Excuse me. So that has been in the first one, registration, which is not shown in this image, and after registration the point features, digitizing the point features, you can see the various dots available, and the line feature is nothing but the various arcs and various streams available, and finally the circled or in bit orange lines, that areas is called as polygon. So that is the various 5 types of manual digitizing process. You can definitely expect manual digitizing in a part B question, or the various types of a manual digitizing process in a part B question. Okay, so this is the process of manual digitizing or the digitizing process done using with the help of a human being or a manual segment. Okay, and next part is automatic digitizing, or in other case scanning part. So in first topic today we have seen the what are the various types of scanners, right? So I told that it will be repeated in the upcoming process also. So this is that. So automatic digitizing is also called as the scanning area. So here scanning area is being segregated into 4 types or 3 types actually: handheld scanner, mechanical scanner or drum scanner, and finally flatbed scanner. Okay, so if they are asking for to explain the automatic digitizing process, you have to explain 3 types of scanner only. Please note this down. Okay, so if they are in university, if they are asking for in general what is a scanner and what are the types of scanner, then you have to explain the 4 types of scanner: mechanical scanner, video scanner, CCD camera, and CCD scanner. Okay, but in case of they are asking to explain the segments or the types of automatic digitizing process, then you should explain about the various 3 categories of scanning part, like hand held scanner, okay, drum scanner and flatbed scanner. Okay, so here automatic scanning is nothing but the procedure is as same as a scanning part only. So automatically when we start the process, the entire image is being scanned with the help of a scanner, and uh, here when we are switching on the scanning part is nothing but for in case of a handheld, the button pressing will be activating the scanning part. Okay, and in drum scanner, the rotation of drum or the starting of the scanning part will initiate the scanning process. And for flatbed scanner, whenever we have kept the image in place and started the scanning process, it will also start on its respective data. Okay, so it is the most commonly used automatic digitizing process ever. So scanning, the types of scanning or the practical problem, this is very important. The practical problem which is being faced by scanning source documents. Okay, so first one is the possibility of optical distortion when using a flatbed scanner. Optical distortion in the sense, so we will be using a light or a cathode ray from under the image, and whenever that image is being scanned, I mean, or whenever that light is being placed, or a thin sheet of light will be scanned from the beginning to the end of the image or the analog map which is available, correct? So whenever the brightness and the scanner dislocates and it is not scanning in the exact area where the light has been highlighted, then a distortion happens. Okay, so that is one problem. Like for example, a not working scanner. Okay, so the light will be in one part and scanning will be done in the other part. So what will happen? So in one area alone the brightness will be very good and the clarity will be very perfect, resolution will be very good. In other area, due to the unavailability of the light or the optical lights, what happens is it will be in dark color. So that is called as optical distortion. So there is a possibility of this happening. That is what they are trying to say in the first point. Second point is the automatic scanning of unwanted information. Okay, like for example, in some scanners the top lid may be broken. Okay, or in nowadays the most of the scanners the top lid has been broken due to the harshness of the human people. So what happens is we will be holding our holding the paper with our hand. Okay, or in order to not make the paper fly away, we will be holding the paper with the edge of it. So what happens, even our hand or our fingers will be taken into consideration, and that will also be scanned in a scanning process. I hope many of you would have done this. Yes. And if there is any fold, or any, if the paper has been used for many times and it is not in a clean sheet manner, okay, all the fold, all the crushes will also be taken into consideration as dark lines in a scanning part. Okay, and any stains of any food particles will also be taken into consideration. So that is all the problems which is being faced using a scanning part. And the third point is the selection of appropriate scanning. Okay, the selection of appropriate scanning has been also like, for example, if we are scanning an entire analog map, it doesn't mean that the entire data or the entire map has been taken into consideration. Okay, we will be pointing out in a specific area alone. Like, for example, if we are going to show a continent map of Australia and New Zealand together, okay, so the surrounded area is fully completely ocean. So we will not be giving more importance to the ocean part, rather than that we will be giving importance to the land covered area part. So the selection of appropriate scanning tolerance to ensure important data are encoded, okay, and the background data has been ignored. So here the background data, in the sense, in this example, of course we know that Australia and New Zealand are covered by full of oceans only. So we won't be giving much of importance to those data. We know that there will be a repetition of the same data again and again, as it is same ocean, same data only. Yes, so that will be taken into consideration over here. And the format of files produced, this is very very important. The format of files produced and the input of data to GIST software. Okay, so what happens is the type of input data that they are going to proceed, or I mean provide in GIST software, that is very very important. We can't expect that all the data will be in same format. Some will be in database management system, some will be as digital data, some will be encoded data, some will be scanned maps or satellite images. Any type of data will be there. So that is also, that file format also plays an important role in the practical faced by the scanning process. Okay, and the last one, the amount of editing required to produce data suitable for analysis. Okay, one very very interesting and very key point. Okay, so why are we doing the scanning process? In order to convert it into a digitizing method. Okay, why should we want to convert it into a digitizing method? Because we want to do some analysis. What kind of analysis we want to do? In order to take a better decision, or to avoid any natural disaster, we want to analyze the particular situation, and then we want to get into a proper conclusion. Yes, so in order to get a proper conclusion from that data, the data should be perfect. Correct. So the amount of editing which has been required to make that data perfect, okay, so that is also a huge process, which will be one of the practical problem faced for scanning the source document. Okay, so like, for example, like I said, again, the map of Australia and New Zealand is being scanned. The, of course, the blue area is not needed, but we have to also focus on the area which is needed at the most, like covering the forest area which is available in the Australia, or covering the desert area which is available in Australia. Everything can be scanned, and based upon the query, or based upon the question which is being asked to the GIS software tool, we have to produce such a data in an analyzed, or which will be using for their analysis process. Okay, so these are the 5 key points, or the 5 practical problem which has been faced for scanning any document. And this is feed roller and flatbed scanner. Okay, so here you can see that the difference between a manual scanning and a digitized scanning process. So in a huge sheet, the data or the image will be pasted using any sellotapes, or any double sided sellotapes, etc., etc., and you can see how the data is being scanned from one end of the map to the other end of the map. Okay, so while scanning, the slot is being manually maintained by a human being. So that is manual digitizing. And the next one is Flatbed scanner is the same scanner which we are using in our systems, in a desktop, in our computers, in our house and colleges, etc. So that is the difference between a manual digitizing and an automatic digitizing process. Okay, hope you guys understood. Yes. Now these are the three types of scanners available: the flatbed scanner, rotating drum scanner, and large format feed scanner. Okay. So the first one is flatbed scanner. Flatbed scanner is nothing but the normal scanner which is being used with a PC or a desktop. And a drum scanner is, as we have seen in the first part, the mechanical scanner is also called as a drum scanner. So despite being very accurate, tend to be too slow and expensive. So that is one disadvantage of a drum scanner, and that's why we are going for a large format feed scanner. So large format feed scanner is far better than feed scanners, and large format feed scanner in the sense it is fast, okay, and it is cheap, and it is accurate. That is, these are the three main segments which has to be important for a digitizing process. Which are they? It has to be cheap, it has to be fast, and the data has to be precise or accurate. So all these three categories are available in large format feed scanners. Okay, even the drum scanner is also pretty expensive, but when compared to large format feed scanner, flatbed scanner is slow. Okay, and the main disadvantage of flatbed scanner is only an A4 size or maximum of A3 size can be scanned over that. Other than that, it is very hard and it is very slow when it compared to a large format feed scanner. Okay, so far we have seen what are the various data sources, what is digitizing, what are the various types of scanners, what are the various types of digitizing methods. Okay, so in that, what is manual digitizing, what are the five segments available in manual digitizing, like registration, point, line, area, and then finally the attribute adding part. And then automatic digitizing is nothing but scanning part. So in that scanning part, what are the various types of scanning available, what are the positive and negative points of for that. So far the best scanners which we can implement in this operation is large format feed scanner. Okay, large format feed scanner. Okay, so flatbed scanner is also effective, but the only negative part is it couldn't or it can't scan a huge area of map at a single time. We have to segregate that image into several segments, and that has to be scanned particularly in a one by one process. Okay, so that is the disadvantage of large format feed scanner when compared to flatbed scanner. But flatbed scanner is a best scanner when compared to a drum scanner. Okay, so when compared to a mechanical scanner, flatbed scanner is much faster and much accurate also. Okay, but while we are trying to scan the entire data of a particular globe, okay, then what is required is that large format feed scanner is the most required. So these are the key points which we have taken into consideration. Okay, so what is the quality of the output which is being used, and what is the resolution which has to be maintained. Okay, and what is the accuracy is the sense, after digitizing process we will be having a verification process in the sense we are comparing the analog data and the digital data. Okay, so when the analog data and digital data are matching perfectly, then the accuracy is 100%. Okay, when it is not mapping it, or when it is not matching perfectly, then the accuracy may increase or reduce. Okay, vectorization. Vectorization is nothing but the process of converting the raster data into a vector data, correct? So the output from scanned maps, okay, or they digitize the output, is often used to generate vector data only, because as we are taking into consideration of points, lines, and polygon areas, vector data is being used at the maximum. So it has been easy for us to add the attribute data in case of points, areas, and lines. Okay. Okay, so georeferencing. So georeferencing is, we are coming to the end of the first webinar of this session. Okay, so georeferencing is nothing but the exact reference of the geographical map represented in a digitized format. Okay, so whenever an analog data is been converted into a digitized format using any scanners, okay, it is been referred by using a coordinate system only. Like I told you, the scale system of 1000 kilometers is equal to 1 millimeter in a map. That scale system is been given in a digitizing format also, in such a way that the coordinate system does not get affected. Okay, so that's what increases the accuracy of a particular digitizing image also, to be fact. Okay, so normally this process is being controlled using a linear transformation only from the rows and column number of the scanned images to the chosen geographic coordinate system. Okay, so that is called as georeferencing process. Georeferencing in the sense we are indicating the digital format with the help of a reference of coordinate system. It can be either projected coordinate system or any other. That is not an issue. But the coordinate system, it has to be projected in a particular way. If RMK Engineering College is available in 42-degree latitude and 90-degree longitude, then that same exact location has to be precisely given in the digital format also. Yes or no? So that kind of data georeferencing process is being taken over here. Okay, so any kind of scanning part can be used for this conversion of analog data into digital data, but here digital georeferencing implements the exact coordinate system or the exact location of any object available in a spatial data to a digitized data. Okay, so this is what happens. And the more clear and more precise, like for example, the more quality tool we are using, the more clear data we will be obtaining. Okay, so if we are using any high end valued scanners, okay, rather than cheap scanners, we will be having some better quality of data. If we are going for scanners which has less amount of data, or which we are having going for scanners which is very cheap, and obviously the data will not be precise, correct? So now can you understand the process of just what is happening? We are scanning the data of any spatial landscape, we are converting it into a digital format using scanners, yes, and then that data is being referenced using coordinate system. Okay, electronic data transfer is conversion of one digital, or I mean a conversion of one digital data into another digital area. Like for example, from one stored device to another stored device, we can convert or we can transfer the data. Okay, either through electronic mail or through from optical disk. These data can be transferable. Okay, so the digitizing any keyboard digitizing, I mean keyboard encoding, manual digitizing, or automatic digitizing, any process is sufficient for conversion of data. That is not at all an issue. Here the electronic data transfer means that it is actually a digital copy of the data. So that data is being transferred from one digital storage device to another digital storage device. Okay, so the input of these data into your GIS is merely a question of electronic data transfer only. Okay, so the digital copy or making multiple copies of a particular digital image in such a way that there is no data loss or there is no any pixel loss available. So this electronic data transfer should be more efficient when we are making multiple copies of a single digitized image. Okay, so here for example, GPS receivers are available that will output data into the format required by a range of GIS packages. Okay, as well as into common spreadsheets and standard GPS formats. Okay, so this is one best example for electronic data transfer concepts. Okay, Now you can see the various color patterns available in representing every single image. The first image, option A, the first image is actually the original image, which is having a combination of several colors together. So when we are taking a particular color, like for example, cyan or magenta or yellow, so you can see how the data is been segregated or it is been differentiated. Or if we are just using black and white colors alone, okay, you can clearly see a point representation or a line representation or a vector representation to be specific. Okay, and this has actually been done by United States of Geological Survey, this image. Okay, so with this we are covering the first type of data input segment actually. Okay, so in upcoming classes we will be seeing what are the various file formats available in a raster data file structure. Okay, like for example, we are going to see the various file formats available in raster data file format actually. So in raster data file format, the various gist raster files are, these are a few which is being represented over here. In this, one or two you may have known, like .img is for image and .jpg is for image, and others we will be seeing in the upcoming classes. Okay, so raster data file format has a huge list of file formats, and every file format we will see it one by one in the next class. Okay, so because once we start this topic it will take almost an hour to finish this one, and so we will have this one in the next upcoming topics, and we will also see what is vector data input and the various file formats available in the next class. Okay, so just to be have a clear brush up, so in today's class the unit we have seen is the third unit, data input and topology. So in this data topology, what we have seen is we are seeing two topics today, which is scanner and raster data input. And first, what is a scanner? Scanner is nothing but anything which converts the analog image into a digital image is called as a scanning part. So it can use either grayscale, which is having white to black spectrum, or we can use any other grayscale like RGB spectrum form, color spectrum. Okay, so these are the common four types of scanners available, which is a mechanical scanner. Video mechanical scanner is also called as, can anyone type the answers, ma? We will have a short and quiz like structure. What is the other name for mechanical scanner? Can anyone type the answers in the chat box, please? Let's have a revision. Excellent, 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 ma. Very good. Bhuvi, Shanbaga Priya, Hariharan, Anjali, Uma Devi, Srinivas Reddy, Selvi. Very good. Drum scanny. Okay. Akshita, good. So mechanical scanner is also called as drum scanner. Very good. And next one is video camera. And what is the disadvantages of a video camera? Can anyone list out that? What is the disadvantages of a video camera? These are very simple answers. Less resolution, good, poor quality, not efficient, okay, not accurate, very good. That is the exact answer. So accuracy is low, correct, correct. Vasudev like very good. So quality is less, good, good. So when we are capturing a data in a video camera, the quality is less, the accuracy is less actually. So when we are capturing a moving object, the accuracy of a specific image is less. Okay, and in video camera, what technique are we using, or what kind of rays are we using, or what kind of tube we are using in video camera? Okay, CRT, expansion, very good. Shanbaga Priya, very good. Cathode ray tube, very good. Selvi, Anjali, very good. Cathode ray tube, good. So now, so mechanical scanner is over, video scanner is over. So now, in CCD camera, okay, what is the disadvantage of CCD camera when compared to a CCD scanner? What is the disadvantages of a CCD camera when compared to a CCD scanner?
repeat, what is the disadvantages of a CCD camera when compared to a CCD scanner? We know that CCD camera is better than video camera, but when compared to a CCD scanner, good, accuracy, very good. So when compared to CCD scanner, the CCD camera has less accuracy. Yes or no? Yes, very good, very good. Less accurate compared to CCD scanner. Excellent, mark. Very good. So the last one is CCD scanner. CCD scanner is also called as CCD scanner is also called as Selby. Very good. So CCD scanner is also called as flatbed scanner. Very good. So these are the various types of scanners available. Okay, and these are the various range of resolutions, the accuracy and cost. Okay, so here the accuracy is being compared with the above and below topics. So that's why they are giving it as very high, low, or medium, or high. Okay. So when compared to the all the four scanners, the accuracy is very high for mechanical scanner only. Okay, but other than that, as mechanical scanner is very slow, we are preferring for the CCD scanner. Okay, and these are the various types of digitizing raster data inputs. Okay, so here, what does the word tabular data refers to? In the first topic, in the first layer, data sources, what does the data tabular? Excellent one. Very
Anjali, Madhubala, Selvi, Umadevi, excellent. Shanbhagapriya, very good students. So here, tabular data represents the database management system where the data has been captured in that one. Okay, very good, ma. And okay, so now what are the two types of digitizing techniques which is available in data capture layer? So first layer is data sources. Second layer is data capture. In the data capture, what is digitizing? What are the main two types of digitizings available? Main two types of digitizing available. Okay, so one is manual digitizing. Very good. Anjali, very good. Selvi, very good. Vasudeva Sai, very good. Uma Devi, very good. So the two types of digitizing available is manual digitizing and automatic digitizing. Excellent. Okay. So just a second. Okay. So moving on to the next question now. Very good, ma. Yeah. So now the next question is, sorry, what are the three types of scanning part available in this raster data input process? What are the three types of scanning part which is available in this raster data input process? So in second layer, you can see data capture. In the data capture, you can see that scanning segment. So under that scanning segment, how many types of scanners should we list out or should we explain over here? Handheld, drum, flatbed. Very good, ma. Excellent as Uma Devi, Shanbhaga Priya, Anjali. Very good, ma. Excellent. So flatbed scanner, rotating drum scanner, and large format feed scanner are the exact answers that you have to imply. And I want to clarify one thing, ma. While you are referring your ebooks, okay, uh, the ebooks are available in your website itself. Okay, so in website you will be having links to access your PPTs as well as your videos. Correct. So while accessing your PPTs and videos, in that PPT folder itself for Unit 1 as well as Unit 2, I have uploaded both the sorry, I have uploaded both the ebooks also. In one ebook, you can see that they have included a topic called as handheld scanner. Okay, Handheld scanner are nothing but scanners which are using barcodes or scanning barcodes. Okay, those kinds of scanners. Okay, but in common, in both the ebooks, the top three scanners which are available are flatbed scanner, rotating drum scanner, and large format feed scanner only. So you guys can please write these scanners alone when they are asking scanning part in raster data input itself. Okay, so this is what the raster data input is all about. And what are the 5 types of stages available in digitizing, manual digitizing process? What are the 5 stages? You can write in short form itself. 5 stages available in manual digitizing format. Very simple. You can just explain it with, list it out with the keyword itself. Excellent. Very good, ma, Anjali. Super. So first one is registration. Second one is digitizing point features. Third one is digitizing line features. Fourth one is digitizing area or polygon features. And last one is adding attribute. Shanbaka Priya, very good, ma, excellent. So registration, point, line, area, and then attribute. Very good, students. I'm really happy. And this is actually the process of digitizing the data from analog to digital segments. So after digitizing the data, editing process, cleaning process will be there. Reprojection, generalization, and edge matching and rubber sheet. Rubber sheeting means combining of several layers together. Edge matching is then like if a single cell of grid area is being converted into a digitized format, that should match the other layers also. So one layer should not be in forward direction, one layer should not be in reverse direction. So that is called as edge matching process. And finally, integrated GIS database is a combination of all the layers together. Very good. So this is point mode and street mode. Bezier curve, which is controlled with a 4-point section, start point, end point, and 2 control points. Splines. Automatic digitizing means the scanning part which we will be having the flat bed scanner, rotating drum scanner, and large format feed scanner. Okay, so now let's see how many are answering this one. So how many categories or how many features we have to take into consideration for output quality, or what are the features we have to take into consideration for output quality? So this is the best output image, sir. So after we have converted an analog image into a digital image, and this is the best image, and we are taking into consideration these all features in order to say that this is the best image, sir. So what are the features which we will be taking in that? Bhuvi, high resolution and accuracy, very good. Cost, excellent, Selvi. Okay. Any other answers? Clarity. Clarity can be given as accuracy, ma? Accuracy or pixel or resolution? Yes, good. So the qualities which we are taking into consideration for the best output is that first one is resolution. Okay, first one is the resolution, the total number of pixels available. The more the pixel, the more clear the images are. You can see that word DPI. So more the DPI value, DPI is nothing but dots per inch. How many dots available per inch? If there are 300 dots DPI, dots per inch, means the clarity is more when compared to 200 DPI. So if it is 400 dpi when compared to 300 dpi, means 400 dpi is more clearer and more resolutionized. Okay. And next one is, as you guys said, accuracy. So resolution, accuracy, vectorization, georeferencing, and electronic data transfer. Okay. So these are the, or main two things is resolution and accuracy alone. Okay. So resolution and accuracy are exact correct answers for bringing out the best image in a digitized format. Okay. So with this, we will wind up today's webinar session. in tomorrow's webinar session we will be having a in the next webinar session we will be seeing what is a raster data file format. Okay, I would like to thank all the students who had participated and listened carefully and cooperated with me for the past 2 hours. Thank you, students. And if you have any doubts, you can clarify it with me. If you can either unmute your mics and ask the questions, or you can post your questions in the chat box. So this is the time for your question and answer session. Students, if you have any doubts, you can please post your questions in their chat box. Okay, so if there is no doubts, not a issue, we will be winding up this class. Thank you, ma, and thank you, students, for cooperating. We will wind up this class now. You can now leave the session. Thank you.